Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and a couple days ago I reported on the DCEU fans starting a petition to get Warner Brothers to release a Zack Snyder cut of the film. Now, my video on that has actually seen like over 50 people sign the petition as a result. And so for that, hey, awesome, thank you. When I first reported on it, it had around 7,000 signatures, and now it's sitting at 63,000 plus. People are wanting this to be a reality, whether or not they're doing it facetiously or because they literally, legitimately want this. There are signatures here, and enough to where Warner's should take a little bit of notice, especially now that we've seen the movie blogs come out and kind of chide the petition as, according to Matt Goldberg from Collider, not understanding filmmaking. No, I think they get it, Matt. I don't think you do. Now, while this particular petition, all right, was written by a person whose English is not their first language, and Matt Goldberg does call, kind of incomprehensible, the idea behind it is clear. Fans wanted Zack Snyder's vision. Now, granted, Warner's had set the release date of Justice League by the time Zack Snyder left the project due to the family tragedy. We know Zack Snyder hasn't seen this cut of the film, and we know that Warner's is sitting at what many people in the movie blogger sphere are calling a dismal $94 million opening. $288 million worldwide, I believe, but in the States, $94 million is considered dismal for this particular film, which was originally projected to earn $110 million, and so it is falling short of projections. And I always have to laugh at that. I look at these websites when they run those articles, and I always kind of go, did you just go to Thesaurus and just look up the, a synonym for bad, right? You can't ever be like hopeful that something might do well. You love to revel in their destruction. It further backs my whole point that people in that part of the industry that talk about movies don't like them. Very similar to the old phrase that people who write about video games don't actually like video games anymore. I think they become cynical, pessimistic, and bitter, and that flows through quite a bit. Matt Goldberg from Collider, I am wholeheartedly looking at you here, buddy. Now, the thing is, this particular petition, while we know we won't be able to see the true Zack Snyder cut, we know that Warner's won't spend the money to finish VFX shots, we know Junkie XL won't come back to score, we know those things. But what we have learned over the course of the past couple days since this petition first launched is that there have been a couple behind-the-scenes deleted scenes, I should say, that were leaked that gave us a bit more involving Iris West and Cyborg's backstory. Things that were cut out of a forced 2-hour runtime for Justice League. We know this because the CEO of Warner Brothers made sure this was a reality. Just as some executive, and it's possible it was the same CEO of Warner Brothers, did it last year for Batman v Superman, cut it down by a half hour, trying to get an extra runtime out of it. Here they thought, let's just cram it all into 2 hours and make it make it work well enough in order to get people in the door. And as a result, well, you kind of fell down. You got hit. 94 million is not what you expected. And it's not that the movie isn't good. It's very good, actually. But the problem with that, too, is that they screwed up. They screwed up because of Thor. See, Thor was much bigger than anyone anticipated. Thor sucked all the air out of the rest of the releases probably this month, with the exception of Coco. 2 weeks post-Thor is not enough time for them to get all the money that they want. You need to give it more time. If it was me, I would have looked at the release date of Thor, probably thinking they were going to beat it because of Thor: The Dark World. No, I still would have recommended an early February release. I would have released it on the same weekend that Lego Batman movie came out this year. Why? Because that was actually a success. We've learned that February, March, April leading in to the summer movie season are actually just as good. And Batman v Superman proved that itself last year, releasing March 25th to the tune of $180 million. Now, granted, the cutting it of a half hour out of the narrative completely killed its second weekend numbers. And so that hurt it quite a bit, which is probably why they wanted this one to be what they were, to be what it was now. They wanted it toned down. They wanted it everything else. Fans know that Zack Snyder got a bum rap here, right? If you're, I don't want to use the term true fan of the DCEU, but if you followed the news, you know Snyder got screwed. He took it in stride. He took one for the team, probably in hopes of getting his master vision of Justice League to be completed and in theaters by the fall of 2017. And due to personal tragedy, that was not able to be completed. And we, as fans, are left hoping that one day we'll get to see something similar to that. And we, you know what, we're not going to be able to get a Zack Snyder cut out of this movie. We're not. They simply don't have enough footage, I think, to put it together to without making it a wholly different film. Right? What I would love to see is I'd love to see them go through, and this is, Joss Whedon could be involved in this too, is to go through and find the other footage that they cut that would help flesh out the story and make it flow a little bit better and give us more background with Aquaman and Cyborg and the Flash. Those scenes we know are there. Those scenes we know were shot. Those actors we know are in the movie. Those actors we just want to see in those roles. And then that would do, I think, go a long way to show precisely that the DCEU can work in a long form, and it just needs to trust itself. It's screwed itself twice now with editing. It screwed itself twice, right? Wonder Woman wasn't a big ensemble piece like both of these last couple films were. It was a simple origin story, and it worked well for what it did. But Batman v Superman chopped off 30 minutes, released the ultimate cut on home video, spent 5 weeks at the top. People enjoy watching these films predominantly on home video. I think that's pretty fair at this point in time. Warner's does better in that regard with his animated films. And I think we learned that. And so that's something I think we have to keep in mind. But going forward with the franchise, I think is what this particular petition should show you. That for Justice League 2, that we all know is going to be coming because the movie's earned enough to warrant a sequel. It's earned enough to warrant a sequel, and they don't want to stop just now considering what they teased at the end of the first film. We know that they're going to go forward. We don't want Joss Whedon to do it. We want Zack Snyder to do it. Bring him back. Don't clip him. Don't castrate him. Don't freak out because some executive chopped 30 minutes out of the movie or dictated it and then got mad at the poor audience response to a very incompetently told story at the hands of executives who are coming in with their notes and screwing around with stuff of which they don't fully understand because they're just money people. What we need is Zack Snyder to be able to tell his magnum opus. Give him the money, give him the space, give him the time, and trust him. We all know that through his films, if you watch the extended cut of those things, it always is better. They always find a home on home video. They always get a cult following, and they're always perceived as being the better versions of the movies. Now, what you need, if you want to keep it within check, is to bring on a good producer who will then keep him from going overboard. But what we see when he's left to his own devices are truly visually stunning films that, when you get to watch them in the full context, are pretty damn good. And here's the other thing too. Snyder's loyal. He's very loyal. He's loyal through all the negativity thrown at him for Man of Steel, all the negativity thrown at him for Batman v Superman, and all the negativity thrown at him for this. And he'd be back for this again, but this is what fans want. Fans want him to come back and finish telling his story. So Justice League 2, let that be the finishing of his trilogy. Let that be what he wants. Now, here's the thing. Is all the changes at DC have been done because they wanted to make it more lighthearted than it was, arguably understandably so, and still, be similar to Marvel. Fans, I think, want a little bit darker. They want a little bit edgier. They've shown this with Deadpool and Logan, appreciation and love. DC should go that route. Let Marvel be Marvel. Don't try to emulate them. Both can exist, but it also requires to release at the right times, to market the movies the right way, and to unfortunately not be bogged down by personal tragedy, which you can't be avoided, and in no way is it anyone's fault. But that's what this petition says to me. That a person who wrote it is a fan and just wants to see the continuation of that vision. It's up to Warner Bros. At this point to give it to them, and I think they can if they do that with Justice League 2. Bring on Snyder, let him tell his story, let him finish his vision, and then let the fans finally see an unaltered, unstopped Zack Snyder superhero film. And I think that with what he's learned off of these couple movies and everything else, he'll be a better storyteller as a result. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to know what you guys think. I will talk to you all later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.